Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you can already tell, we've started the podcast episode. TJ is clueless, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's what happens when you go to Europe. On this episode, of the Manic Movie Misfits podcast, we're on video, so hello.
Yeah, this is a foreign concept considering we haven't done this in like 2 years.
I can't even believe we've had this podcast for 2 years, basically.
That too.
We've had this since the summer after our freshman year of college, and it's the summer after our junior year of college. So 2 years, over 2 years, basically.
Jesus.
And, yeah, we haven't done, TJ's right, we haven't done a video in a while. I think our last video might have been the Seinfeld episode, where we went and talked about Seinfeld.
No, I don't think we've videoed a thing since like Titans.
I remember doing the thumbnail for Seinfeld.
Okay. Maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Jeez, TJ.
I'm a clueless boy.
Clueless boy.
It's all the whippets.
By the way, if you haven't seen the Seinfeld episode, check that out. That was a good one.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, that one's fun. But on today's episode, we're going to just kind of talk about where we've been, because we've only released 2 episodes in the last, 2 months. We did the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Fast and Furious episode.
Yeah.
And then we did the Spider-Verse episode.
Yeah.
And so we're going to kind of talk to you guys what we've been doing.
We haven't recorded in over a month?
Yep.
What?
Well, and I released the Spider-Verse episode 3 weeks later than after we
Oh, yeah, you
discussed
did, because I was in Europe when you released it.
Yeah, it was much later.
I forgot about that.
So it's been a hot freaking minute. And so that's why we're just kind of sit down with you guys and talk about what we've been up to get you ready for what's to come. Because we have a lot of movies, a lot of hot releases.
Hell yeah.
Including one we're seeing tonight, Mission Impossible Fallout. Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yeah.
Absolutely excited. We both accepted our missions, by the way, if anyone's wondering.
Where are you going on your mission?
Oh, I'm actually sent to Greece, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're going to speak the word of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints there?
Well, yes, and also...
I love the sudden realization in your face. We're like, oh, that's where that bit was going.
yeah, I was not expecting that. No, I was going along the route that I have to go rescue my sister's Pepperdine group. They're right now in Greece doing some college stuff.
Good shit.
And so I need to rescue them because they're about to be in danger.
Ah, yes.
Yes. Solomon Lane has come back.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Shout out Sean Harris.
Sean Harris is a legend.
Yeah. His voice is so satisfying to listen to.
It's very, very satisfying.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it is. Okay, but yeah, so we're going to talk about movies we've been watching recently, what we've been doing with our lives. We're not going to tell you everything because we want to be mysterious, you know.
Ooh. Yeah. Spooky, scary.
We want to be Bruce Wayne. You know.
You can dream.
Oh, boy. Oh.
That's something we watched.
That's right. We haven't talked about The Flash, have we?
Do you want to start with that?
Let's do it.
All right. We watched The Flash.
It was interesting.
It's all right. At best.
Yeah. Who's the actor for The Flash again? Ezra
Miller. The Crim.
We can, I mean...
Do you want an eraser instead of using your finger? Right there.
I've already used it, too. That's the problem. And
there
I should have
known
Bubba. Thank you. I should have known this already. Yeah, the problem... I'll start this discussion by saying Ezra Miller just does not work as the Flash. Because...
Yes and no.
He didn't... His acting performance in that movie was poor.
Oh, yeah. In his own movie, it's not good. I think everyone... I don't know the extent of truth this has.
Okay.
Because I've never seen the Snyder Cut. But everyone's like, in the Snyder Cut, he works as a side character. Okay. It's like how Jeremy Renner at the beginning of the MCU works as a side character in the Avengers. He's like that. He fills that role where it's like not the most important character, but he's there and he does his job.
Right.
Ezra Miller in his own movie sucks ass, and it's so hard to watch.
Well, it's hard to watch, and it's a real problem when that's literally the main character of the movie, and you're relying on him to carry the film and carry the big emotional beats of the film. Which,
he's trying to do a double performance, and it works neither time.
No.
One is better than the other, I will say. Like, I think the main character Flash is better than the alternate reality.
He does have some funny moments. The main character, the main normal Flash.
The main normal Flash, I feel like is a little more bearable.
Yeah.
because like the alternate reality Flash is, oh my god, so annoying.
He is. There's that one apartment scene where he's with his roommates, and that's supposed to be funny. I never laughed once.
I liked the idea of the joke that they were telling, but I didn't find their execution of it funny. Like I liked how they were mentioning all the movies, and they're like, oh, Eric Stoltz, it was Marty McFly, like he was supposed to be, and like that whole sets off a whole tirade of like reworkings of classic movies, and I think that's a funny idea, especially with like the whole multiverse thing. Does it work though? No. Short answer. I think that's the problem with a lot of the comedy in the movie. It's good on paper sometimes, occasionally. The execution kind of sucks.
Yeah, it does. Another thing that kind of was unfortunate was they were trying to do like an Endgame-esque sort of monumental finale movie with The Flash and Supergirl and Michael Keaton's Batman. But the problem was there was no stakes.
No, there's none at all.
They were simultaneously creating a lot of the stakes within that same movie. Yeah. And there hadn't been any stakes set up prior to that movie to make it more emotional, more set up, more developed, even though a multiverse movie like that kind of requires something of that nature.
Exactly.
Especially when you're having this, big moment with your Flash character.
Yeah.
And, well, they didn't have anything set up prior, so it kind of fell short there. But
I think the movie tries to be a little too big for its own britches. These solo movies can be big. I mean, like, look at Civil War, and there's another one I had in mind a second ago, where it's like these can have like bigger ramifications of your like universe and stuff like that. Like, I mean, like I said, Civil War, I mean, is practically Avengers 2.5.
Yeah.
And it's
a Captain America movie.
It's still Captain America movie, and it's, I mean, it is a big event. Like, it's, honestly, if you watch the Avengers movies, you should throw in Civil War, because it's so important in the overall grand scale. Flash doesn't have that. It tries to be this big thing, and it ends up just kind of falling in on itself. It's like, what's the point?
I will say, though, I'm glad we got the Michael Shannon moment where he's doing the timeline of his career.
Oh my god!
And he says he's like, what is a multiverse or whatever?
Yeah, my character died in Man of Steel. Why am I back for this movie?
Yeah,
because it's a multiverse. What's a multiverse? Yeah. That whole exchange is so funny.
Well, and it's the way Michael Shannon speaks just works so well with that too, as far as being clueless.
I love it. Between that and I'm such a lucky boy.
Oh yeah.
That clip from the Criterion Closet video is the funniest thing. It makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
It's so goofy. But yeah.
I don't know if you get this with him, but for me, he sometimes comes across as like a mix of like being genuine, but then you feel like somewhere on the inside of all of his dialogue he's being sarcastic at the same time.
Yeah, there's a little hint of like, I'm kind of playing this up to be Gooner.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that is kind of like something he does with like the I'm such a lucky boy thing, where it's like he's purposely so awkward.
Right.
And it's like, but I think he's a good actor. So I mean,
oh yeah,
he's a I'd say becoming a modern iconic actor, and so I think he has the right to be a little bit of a weirdo here and there.
Yeah, I want to see him win an Oscar. He's been nominated for a couple.
I think he's been nominated for maybe 2.
Yeah, 2. I think, because I think he was nominated
for Revolutionary Road.
Yeah. And then is he in Prisoners? No.
I don't know.
He was nominated for I think.
To the Internet. We have the power of the internet.
While you're looking that up, I just wanted to say I hope you like my lightning symbol.
The Flash. That's what Michael Shannon.
About. I'll put this down so they can see my wonderful top half of my
Michael Shannon.
My shirt. They can see my shirt.
Let me see.
But he was in the movie for what felt like 5 seconds, actually.
Yeah.
Even though he's supposed to be the main villain.
One of them.
One of them, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's another thing this movie struggles from, is, like, it builds up Zod so much, and then Zod's in the movie for maybe, like, 6 minutes at most, and it's just like, all right. I mean, I get it's not, like, in the end, it's supposed to be more Reverse Flash and, like, stuff like that. Like, or, like, the Flash that's, like, gone kind of off the rails. But, like, that whole, like, bait and switch is, I mean, that's something I don't like about superhero movies kind of now sometimes. It's where, at least Marvel did it a lot, like, 2 years ago.
Okay.
There's, like, everything, or most shows where it's, like, the main villain isn't actually the main villain. It's this elusive third party that just comes in the final, but it happened on, like, consecutively for, like, 4 or 5 projects, and it was like, this isn't, what?
Yeah.
It was fun the first time in, like, WandaVision, because it was well done. And then, past that, it was just like, all right, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. That's a great point, TJ. I didn't think about that, but... yeah, that has happened quite a few times. Did that happen in Shang-Chi?
Kind of.
Oh, yeah, it kind of did, because you had the dragon.
Yeah, because it was like they built up the main villain guy. I can't remember his name, and then he was like, honestly, like, not the main villain. It was like what he tries to go find is like the real main villain, and then they kind of did it with Loki, where it was like the TVA is the bad guy. It's actually like what lies at the end of the universe is kind of the bad guy, or same with Sylvie, and like there's like Sylvie's the bad guy. She's not actually the bad guy. She's the good guy, or one of them. Yeah, he's gone up for 2.
What was the second one?
Nocturnal Animals.
Ah, that's right. Yeah. No, he's a good actor. I'm kind of disappointed. Okay, hey, I want him to get all the money he wants, and I want him to make the decisions that he wants. But I was kind of disappointed when he showed up in Bullet Train and now this, because I feel like he could spend his time doing better roles and doing that sort of thing that he's really should spend his time towards, in like art stuff and whatever. Bigger roles that aren't just what seem like money grabs. If he really wanted to do those and he wanted to make the money, hey, I don't want him to like not make money. Make as much money as you can, but I want to see him do more Nocturnal Animals, more of those kind of movies, because when he does commits to those kind of roles, I mean, he's Michael Shannon. He's a great actor.
Oh yeah. Yeah, having him in Bullet Train was a very bizarre choice.
It was.
I'm not saying he was like bad in the movie.
No.
But he was like, it was very bizarre to be like this big bad villain, and then it's Michael Shannon. That man is not that formidable to look at. He's a tall, lanky American man. He has not a lot of like. I want that. He's not formidable, like I said.
Yeah.
But like he's the main villain. It's very bizarre. But yeah, I think like in the Flash, it was weird to see him in there. He
does a good job in Man of Steel. I will say that.
Oh, he's a good
villain.
He's a great man. He's great. He's a great Zod.
Yeah.
I think he takes the ideas of like Terrence Stamp from the '80s and translates it to modern stuff really well. But yeah, the Flash is not great.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton.
That's the one thing. Michael Keaton is very good in the Flash movie. That for me alone was worth the ticket. Seeing him put on the costume one more time and playing an older Batman was cool.
And like his action was really cool. I feel like everything revolving old Batman was really cool. And some of the things with like Supergirl were pretty cool.
I will say that's another thing that going forward, I would totally be cool if she was Supergirl.
Oh, absolutely. Forward. When they do this whole reset thing, I'm totally down if they just cast her again, because she's really good.
I liked her lack of dialogue. I thought that carried her in a different light and made her more interesting and intriguing.
Yeah, I think like it was sad that she wasn't in the movie for a little more,
Yeah.
Because, like, that was one thing I was very excited to see in the movie. And they really hyped up Supergirl, and then they, like, bring her in for, like, 20 minutes. And I was like, really? All right.
Yeah.
But, it's a solid, like, 5 out of 10 movie.
It's fine. But it's fine to... For me, it's fine to bad. Like... Yeah, it's somewhere in between that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a 4 or 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Kind of thing where it's like, it has its moments in terms of, like, sometimes the Flash is decent. It has, like, some decent ideas with the Flash. Michael Keaton, some of the action.
Supergirl.
Stuff like that. And then other times it's like, it's a mess of a movie. It's, like, so overlong and, like, has no drive through, like, most of it.
The climax is handled really weird too.
Yes, that was one thing I heard before we went into the movie, was that, like, and I didn't, like, look into it or anything, but, like, I saw, like, that was, like, a snippet of a review I saw, was like, the movie itself is very paced really weirdly.
Yeah.
And, like, the whole climax, it feels very rushed. I was like, oh no. And I can say with certainty, it was. But, I mean, yeah, the whole movie's bizarre to watch.
Yeah.
From the opening with the babies to the weird CGI babies.
I gotta say, I understood what they were going for specifically with putting the baby in the microwave. But at the same time, it's still, for me, that still didn't work.
The baby in the microwave. I forgot about that. That was like, that was the moment I knew that this movie was unhinged.
Yeah.
I was like, as soon as there was A, CGI babies, B, putting CGI babies in a microwave to save it, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. For me, that's a little too much.
It was, yeah. I'm like, I get it. It'd be like a funny, dark humor joke. And it kind of is in some ways, but, like, it's just like you watching, you're like, oh my God, this movie is unhinged.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. It's a Flash movie.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, and, you know, with the last 2 minutes, what we've been talking about, it comes back to the point where, again, your main character is, you know, way down the list of
actual important characters in the movie.
Important characters, important things, good things in the movie. We literally list Batman, Supergirl, the action, some of the action, other things. And then he's all the way down here.
Still beats the CGI, though.
That's good. Yeah, he does have I can... Yeah. The main Barry has enough moments where,
weird CGI Nick Cage, even though he shot the thing for the movie. I don't get that still.
That was crazy. TJ and I had this conversation where I was asking TJ, I was saying, oh, okay, so they that was completely just computer generated Nick Cage. That wasn't
for those who
actually
don't
Nick
know.
Cage.
In the ending thing when they're looking in all these universes, we see, like, Adam West's Batman and why am I forgetting old Superman name?
Oh,
Christopher Reeve.
Yeah,
Christopher Reeve Superman, and also the lady who played Supergirl, and they're all weirdly CGI, like, rendered. It looks awful. And then it cuts to Nick Cage's Superman, one of the most fabled movie stories of all time. And it looks hilariously awful.
So they actually had him on set?
Yeah. At least that's what they keep saying. I'm like very unsure if that's actually the case.
If he was actually on set, that is atrocious what they did.
Exactly. Well, it's not like they CGI'd the final cameo of the movie. Should I spoil it? Mini spoilers for the next 15 seconds.
Well, we kind of already spoiled stuff already.
All right, fuck it. We're shit.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to say that.
No, it's fine. I'll put it early on. I'll put an edit saying we're about to talk about spoilers. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. They didn't CGI in, like, George Clooney.
Yeah.
Or, like, they actually got Gal Gadot in there to make her, like, 2-second cameo in the movie.
Yep.
I mean, they CGI'd Ben Affleck for part of it, but, like, with his face.
Yeah.
That part looks gross.
Yeah.
But, like, he was on set in a suit. Why can't they just do that with...
Yeah.
It's so stupid. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't want to get it.
Yeah.
But Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember us walking at that movie, and all our minds were just boggled on what the hell we just watched.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, oh my god.
I guess I'm glad we watched it because it does make for an interesting discussion, as we just talked about.
Oh, yeah. I'm very glad I watched it. I am kind of glad I saw it in the theater. Yeah. Because I'm like, this is such a surreal experience. I'm definitely going to try and watch it again. Like when it goes on HBO or something. Mm-hmm. My friend is already like, I haven't seen this. And I'm like, oh, we're watching it. Because you are going to have a field day watching this shitty movie.
Yeah. It does make me want... I don't think they should, but it does make me kind of want more like a... I mean, and they've talked... we've heard of rumors of having the Batman Beyond, right?
Oh, Batman Beyond, yeah.
That sort of storyline with old Bruce Wayne. They've had rumors about making a live-action version of that. That's never actually come to fruition, but... No. But it does make me want more old Batman, more old Michael Keaton, because he sells it so... I mean, he's Michael Keaton. He sells it so well. And
he does. I think it would be interesting to legitimately bring him back for an old Batman-style movie.
Yeah.
Like, if they got, like...
Well, he was the one that was always tied whenever they did those rumors. It was always Michael Keaton doing Batman Beyond with whoever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, he's the only, like, Batman old actor that's older.
Right. That's a good point.
But, like, I think if they did something kind of like Dark Knight Returns, like that comic, where it's, like, it is legitimately old Batman, and, like, it's like his one last ride for, like, I'm going to try and do this one last time. I think it'd be, like, a really cool idea. I think it'd be, like, probably really well done if they got a good director and stuff. But, like, I want to see it, but at the same time, I'm like, you could just leave it alone.
That's where I think I've decided that's kind of my opinion, because we do get so many superhero movies anyway.
Oh yeah, superhero movie mania is
superhero movie fatigue right now is real. On both sides, for both DC and Marvel.
Absolutely,
it's real.
Who said it wasn't real? Was it James Gunn? I think it was James Gunn.
Oh well, of course. I mean, he's trying to sell DC, so.
Well, yeah, and that's what everyone was saying was like, you said The Flash was the greatest superhero movie of all time. We're not listening to you now, and like, but it very much is a thing. I mean, and
it's even getting to the point where even the good superhero movies, one of my immediate thoughts will be, well, maybe I'll see it later, or maybe I'll just, kind of.
I mean, that's what I've had with Secret Invasion, where I'm just like, I don't have the drive to watch this like week by week like I would with like a different show. I'll just binge it all in a day and call it good, because I just don't really care as much. But
and it used to not be that way.
Oh,
remember when
absolutely.
you, Emerson, and I, everyone, Emerson, he's been on the podcast before.
Many times.
We'd be so hyped. We'd get lunch or something, or lunch after seeing Thor Ragnarok or whatever, and it was awesome. It was amazing.
Well, that was like the golden age of Marvel. Was because the first one we saw was Homecoming, right?
Yeah,
we saw Homecoming, and then everything after, until I think Far From Home was the last one we saw together. Yeah. So like, I mean, and that was like the golden age of Marvel, like I said, or at least like their movies, where it was like consistent banger after banger. Like everything, most movies were pretty consistently good. They were hugely hyped, and like they legitimately had the appeal of being the biggest movie for like a month and a half or 2 months.
Yeah.
Now no one gives a shit, because I mean, Endgame's over. We're in the lull period in general, but like there's no like consistent through line of like, here's what we're leading up to, kind of like what they did with Endgame, where it's like everything itself is building in a way that like makes sense, Now it's just like it's the Wild West. It's like the show sets up this thing, and then apparently it's not happening, but we don't know. I don't. It's there's no real point to watching some of this like day one, because we don't know what's actually going to be important in like 2 months.
Yeah. Well, and what's sad is Marvel had a chance to end it the right way. They could have ended
absolutely.
it with Endgame and took 5 years to then write, develop, decide what
section.
the new saga would be.
Yeah, and I think like that's what they should have done. They should have capped it with Endgame, made maybe like 1 or 2 movies in the years in between, kind of like a Far From Home, or maybe it's like a new figurehead for like the upcoming series. And then they could have like been like, all right, we're going to go back to 2 or 3 movies a year, but we have a specific plan. Here's everything that you need to know. But they didn't.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. So what I was going to say before our camera rudely interrupted us by shutting off is, we said all that. We said superhero fatigue, everything.
Yeah.
With that being said, there are some movies that I'm glad that came out during that time and are genuinely some of my favorite superhero movies actually ever.
Oh, yeah. I think there's like I said, fatigue is real, but I do think there is the possibility for movies to make you forget that it is real.
Right.
Batman, Spider-Verse, why am I forgetting other ones?
Well, Eternals is one of my favorites.
Oh, Eternals is great.
Now it's
a controversial opinion in some ways.
In some ways it is. I can't quite get a grasp because I see social media in the comments and everyone's like, hey, Eternals isn't as bad as everyone says it is.
Yeah.
And then you have also the camp where there is the Eternals sucks. Why do people like this movie?
Yeah.
I would actually genuinely like to have one of those people on the podcast. Actually, Emerson. Maybe we'll have him on the podcast.
I think Emerson's one of those people.
Not to necessarily argue, but to just have a discussion about it. Because I genuinely am curious. Because I know, TJ, you don't like it as much as me, but you still think it's a good superhero movie.
Oh, I think it's a great movie.
I
like its very much different pace and ideas.
And and for me, it's the adult nature that is carried in that film. Whether it's the dialogue itself, the topics that they discuss.
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, it's just a very different movie compared to every other MCU movie.
Paced differently.
Yeah. Where it's like it sometimes hits all the same story beats and stuff like that. It's bound to happen. But like the idea, like the tone of it is so different, and it's very.
There's literally a scene about like Hiroshima.
Yeah. It's a lot more of a quiet movie in a lot of ways, where a lot of these other superhero movies are big and crazy and loud, and it's just like, all right, I get the point. And it's nice to see a change of pace from Marvel. If it's I felt like it was going to be a very in the middle movie to begin with.
Yeah.
Where it was one of those ones where it's like people are getting it's like it's too slow and what's the point of this? I kind of saw that coming, but I didn't expect it to be so like line in the sand. Like, where do you stand on this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also shout out. I mean, I keep shouting things out left and right here.
Cinematography
is also different.
Yeah,
and it's the Chloe Zhao-esque cinematography, which I also quite enjoyed.
You got a legitimate filmmaker behind the wheel, not just some small guy that's made superhero movies.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I've always appreciated about Marvel is they have given lots of different directors from different backgrounds, from different in film, opportunities to make a superhero movie. And Eternals is obviously no different. It's Chloe Zhao.
Yeah,
Nomadland, Oscar winner.
Yeah,
never ever had directed a movie with that kind of budget, anything like that.
Yes, well, I mean, like, and same with the guy who did Shang-Chi. He did indie movies.
Yeah,
or at least they were big, but they weren't and they were critical acclaimed, but he wasn't making action movies. I mean, he made a movie about troubled teens with Brie Larson, and
oh really?
Yeah, he made Short Term 12, which is apparently a really good movie.
Yeah, I heard good things about that.
He made that one, and I think he made Just Mercy too.
Oh,
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, and is Jamie Foxx in that one?
Yes, Jamie Foxx. I think also Brie Larson. I think they consistently work together.
Yeah.
like I said, never made an action movie. And now everyone's like, I think he might be directing one of the Avengers movies.
Yeah, he was...
Or at least he's in talks to.
Yeah, he was in talks, I think, of the first one. The first of the two-parter.
Yeah, which I'm here for. I think he can pull it off. I think there's some aspects of Shang-Chi that I think were really well done, and the action is one of them. But, like, at the same time, like, Marvel has been really good about just picking random people, like John Watts. Who the hell was this guy 10 years ago?
Yeah.
He made a movie with Kevin Bacon, I think a horror movie.
I was going to say, he directed, like, 2 things.
And they weren't big. They were these tiny, low-budget movies that, like, I mean, they were, like, nothing. They probably didn't even premiere at, like, Sundance or something. And then they're like, oh, yeah, he's making Spider-Man. He's making the whole trilogy. Everyone's kind of just like, what? And
now, it's that trilogy has gotten to the point where people are discussing whether it's the best MCU trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's
in that discussion.
Yeah, that and Guardians and what else would there be? Captain America. I don't think Captain America's up there.
First one. A lot of people have a problem with the first one.
Yeah.
That is one where the criticism that I have seen from that movie, there is justification to.
Oh, absolutely.
To a lot of that. But
yeah, I think I rewatched it maybe a year ago now.
Yeah, because you were. For those that have been with us for some time, you'll remember that we were trying to do a MCU rewatch, and it lasted like 2 movies, but
yeah, we got through
or 3 movies, something like that.
Got through Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Oh
well.
But yeah, I pretty much rewatched all of Phase 1. But Captain America 1, first half of the movie is so good.
Okay.
It's really good. I'd say maybe the first 3 quarters. And then it becomes so campy, and it becomes almost a caricature of what the first half of the movie is. And it's just like, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's because the first half of it's like it's actually like it's not, I wouldn't say it's slow, but like it takes itself more seriously, and it's a little more it's not like it is jokey, but it's not like overly jokey. And it's like it's ridiculous, but it makes sense. The last half of it just kind of throws it all away, and it's just like, we're gonna be a big goofy action movie now because he has superpowers, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
It is like Joe Johnson or someone who made it, like someone who's been in the business for like 30 years, and it's like, how have you made classics and then like not learned how to make a movie consistent?
Yeah, he's made one of my. You were talking about childhood movies earlier. He's made one of my favorite childhood movies, October Sky.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
I forgot he did that movie.
And I don't know what your thoughts are on it, TJ, but I think that's a genuinely good, true story. Movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah,
I love that movie. Now you got me thinking about that movie.
Dude, the scene. I don't mean to go. I mean, tangents is kind of our middle name at this point, but the scene between Chris Cooper, that's the other director, right? Chris Cooper and Jake Gyllenhaal when Jake Gyllenhaal's character is kind of like, his dad has been like trashing all of his rocket stuff, and he's like threatening to leave. That scene is really good.
Oh yeah,
because not just because there's all that yelling, but having that sort of that painting that his mother was painting in the back, and how that ends up sort of being a bigger piece to that whole fight and stuff, being the backdrop to that.
It's so good.
It's set up very well. It's a
great movie.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where it's like I forget about it sometimes, and then I'll like think about it, and I'll be like, this movie's so good. How do I keep forgetting about this?
Yeah.
It's almost what I have with like Mission Impossible 5 at times. It's like,
really?
I forget Mission Impossible 5.
Wow.
It's not okay. It's not that I forget like the stunts or anything. Like I remember like the base. I just don't remember the story.
Okay.
I don't think I know the story for 4. Or I don't know the stories for 4 or 5.
Okay.
I just remember like the basics of what happens, like where they go, and that's it. Dude,
5. I don't mean to spoil our Mission Impossible podcast, but 5. I rewatched it. I rewatched all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
it's a good movie.
I think it's the best Mission Impossible movie. That we haven't seen 7, obviously.
Oh yeah,
and I think it's my favorite Mission Impossible movie as well.
Oh yeah, fair enough. I mean, I think my friend has 5 is their favorite as well.
Yeah.
But it's a good movie. I remember, like, every time I watch it, I'm like, this movie rips. It's just one of those things where it's like, in my mind, I for some reason cannot, for the life of me, remember what happens.
Interesting.
And it's one of the few movies like that for me.
I can see where you're coming from, though. I'm sure I have some of those. I would have to think about it a little more, but
yeah, it's like, I mean, I've seen it probably like 2 or 3 times at least, but like,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great movie.
Yeah. The one I forget. You know what? If we're talking Mission Impossible movies, the one I forget often is the second one until I rewatched it. Because I remember the rock climbing, and I remember there was a motorcycle thing going on.
My motorcycle chase at the end.
But before I rewatched it, I kind of forgot what the whole thing was about.
Yeah, when did I watched like the last half of that movie with my parents. Shit, maybe a year ago. Maybe that sounds right. And I kind of, I like actually remembered like what the plot was, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't even remember. I also forgot Anthony Hopkins is in that movie.
I know, dude. When I rewatched it, I had to double take. I was like,
it's so random.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, it's so random. But like, that movie's very bizarre. I love it.
But we got to save the conversation.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So for those that are, I think I might have said this at the beginning, maybe not. We're going to do an episode not just on Mission Impossible 7, but we're going to talk about all the Mission Impossible movies, because we haven't had a chance really to do that on the podcast. Because
we never talked about Mission Impossible.
No, and it's a top 2 action franchise for me personally.
Oh yeah,
it's up there. I know for you. We talk about it like off camera, off mic, quite a bit.
Oh, I mean, it's one of the most famous action franchises ever. You can't not love it. It's so good.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just one of those things. The last one came out in 2018.
You were sophomores in high school.
Yeah, I think it was
this. Yeah,
I think it was junior year.
Yeah, junior year. You know what? It was the summer in between those two.
Yes. Yeah. So it's been a while since we've like seen a Mission Impossible movie. But I'm very excited for this new one.
I'm very excited as well. The problem is, and I had this problem with the Guardians 3, is unfortunately my expectations were way too high.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want that to happen. I'm trying to
limit
myself with this one, because Rogue Nation, because ever since the third one, well, from when it's gone 3, 4, 5, 6, all those movies have gotten better and better and better.
Well, yeah. I mean, 2 is like whatever. 3, it's like it's a step up from that, but like it's like this weird middle ground where it's like it's better than 2, it's not as good as 1. And then like 4 and 5 and 6, like it reinvented itself. It became this whole new franchise, this whole new series. So it's become its own entity from there. So it's like it started getting better, and then it became its own thing, and it's like it's still riding that wave of bullshit.
Yeah.
Of like its reinvention I think it's yet to get old, and I think that's something so amazing about the series. It's one of those few franchises that can do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, again, we got to stop talking about it in an episode, but the last thing I'll say is they finally got a clear direction after the third one, with the fourth one going on. And I think obviously a big reason is Christopher McQuarrie joined the franchise. Because I think he wrote the fourth one, correct?
I think so.
I think he did.
Maybe he wrote the third one too. Let me check.
Oh. Yeah. But anyway, that's all we'll say. There's a lot I want to say, but we have a whole episode we can do for that. So the other thing I want to mention or shout out, just because, is what I will say about October Sky. The last thing I wanted to mention was the score, by the way, for that movie is great too.
For which one?
October Sky.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He did not write 4.
Oh, he didn't? Did he produce it?
Real quick, he wrote and directed both 5 and 6.
Right.
He didn't produce 4.
I thought he was associated.
Who made 4 then? Well, I know Brad Bird directed it, but like, who wrote it and stuff like that?
Well, I'm pretty sure I heard something where McQuarrie joined on the fourth one somehow, but
maybe he did in some way, but like, JJ, I know he produced these movies. Okay, here we go. Writers. One of the writers was wrote the Michael Bay TMNT movies.
Okay.
And the other guy...
Talk about cinema, am I right?
They both did. Huh. So, totally random guys just wrote this movie.
Yeah. That's interesting. Huh.
Did JJ still produce these movies, though?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to check the producers.
I think he produced all of them until Fallout. I think.
Oh, he stopped with Fallout?
I think so. Because I remember looking, obviously, at all the credits. We're doing the rewatch.
Yeah. He doesn't do this one. But let's check. He definitely did 4.
Right, and he did... I'm pretty sure he did 5, too, but check.
Yeah, I'm checking now.
Yeah. That's one thing I forgot.
Holy shit, they have tons of additional directors on these. Yeah, he did 5. Did he do 6?
The suspense. It's building. It's building.
He did 6. Oh, Jesus. That scared the hell out of me.
That sound definitely didn't work for me, but it worked for you, it sounds like.
Yeah. Ooh. Sorry, I'm looking at cinematographers for Mission Impossible.
Oh, okay. Okay, we'll save that.
Well, yeah.
Or if there's something small you want to mention, we can do that.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say that the guy who did Ex Machina did Fallout, and I can see it. They're both amazingly shot movies.
Yeah. That's so... Okay, yeah, we got to save stuff for the Mission Impossible pod. That's a good place to end this.
Yeah.
So, if you guys want a continuation of our Mission Impossible conversation that we're having at the end of this sort of catching up episode, be sure to listen or watch the next episode where we will be talking about Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1, and the rest of the Mission Impossible franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, thank you for listening or watching. And if you want to watch and you're listening right now, go to our YouTube channel under the same name as our podcast, the Manic Movie Misfits Podcast. It'll be up on the same day that the episode gets released on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess without further ado, TJ and I are going to accept our mission.
Oh, shit.
And go watch Mission Impossible 7. So we'll see you next time.
Toodles.